for how to live life and was essential for getting into the afterlife. This is probably the most well-known aspect of Maat, as a kind of framework for how one should behave and speak, which, if followed throughout life, could gain you acceptance into the afterlife. Maat is often translated as truth or justice, but one could argue that divine order is really closer to the meaning. In other words, it meant the way the world should be. Some ideas about behavior that was in accordance with Maat or against it sound very familiar to modern Western ideas of morality and ethical behavior. For example, things like stealing or falsely accusing someone would be acts that do not belong in the ordered world of Maat, while judging fairly and helping people were good behaviors that were in accordance with Maat. But while these ideas seem logical and correct to us, we should keep in mind that ancient Egyptian culture and its values can be quite different from our own. For example, another facet of correct behavior within Maat that does not sound quite so good to us today is that you shouldn't upset the social order, including not having rich people become poor or poor people become rich. In other words, don't upset the apple cart. So would you measure up to Maat? Let me know by answering the poll in the top right-hand corner. Number 2. Maat is often shown as a goddess with a feather on her head. While Maat is a concept relating to divine order and truth, the ancient Egyptians also personified Maat as a goddess, something they often did with concepts. And she's often said to be the daughter of the creator sun god Re. In art, you might see the feather alone to symbolize Maat, such as in the weighing of the heart scene, but often you'll see her as a full goddess, in human form, with a feather.
Freedom to move on through the hall to continue its existence in paradise at the field of reeds. No one could escape this eternal judgment. In the Egyptian idea of the afterlife, Maat was believed to assist those who adhered to her principles during their life. Worshipping Maat as a divine goddess. While Maat was respected as an important goddess, the ancient Egyptians dedicated no temples to Maat. Nor did she have any official priests. Instead, a modest shrine was consecrated to her and other gods' temples honored Maat. The single temple recognized as having been built in her honor by Queen Hatshepsut, 1479 to 1458 BCE, was erected within the god Montu's temple grounds. Egyptians venerated their goddess by simply living their lives in observance to her tenets. Devotional gifts and offerings to her were placed on her shrine set in many temples. According to surviving records, the sole official veneration of Maat occurred when a newly crowned Egyptian king offered sacrifices to her. After being crowned, the new king would offer a representation of her to the gods. This act represented the king's request for her assistance in preserving the divine harmony and balance during his reign. Should a king fail to maintain the balance and harmony, it was a clear portent he was unfit to reign. Maat thus was crucial a king's successful rule. In the Egyptian pantheon of gods, Maat was a significant and universal presence, despite having no priestly cult or dedicated temple. The Egyptian gods were thought to live off Maat, and the majority of images showing the king offering Maat to Egypt's pantheon of gods upon his coronation were mirror images of those depicting the king presenting wine, food, and other sacrifices to the gods. The gods